All right, episode 3. Last time I went over kind of what I needed to do and what it takes and some tips and tricks of getting the powertrain prepared for removal, for extraction, whatever you want to call it. And if you look right down here below me, I have my engine crane and I managed to pull the whole thing out. And I can't tell you how like stoked I was when I did this. I was so excited. I was actually like really surprised. It was kind of easy, right? It wasn't that difficult. The Probably the most annoying part about this entire thing was my soft driveway. I explained in the last video my driveway is like real soft, so the wheels of the engine hoist were actually sinking into the driveway as I was pulling that out. And mind you, like I was doing all of this and I was filming all of this like during the pandemic, during the lockdowns and everything, and I couldn't buy an engine hoist anywhere. No one had them. Nothing was going on. And I remember going to my local AutoZone asking if I could buy the floor model, and the manager's like, "No, absolutely not." And I was like, "Listen, bud, I need to do this. I can't buy anything anywhere. You guys aren't gonna sell it. Everyone knows what one looks like. Let me just buy it." And the guy would give me like a hard time. So I knew that at night, like during the night shift at the AutoZone, the employees would, not be completely sober. So I went in at night and asked the guy there, like, "Hey man, can I buy the floor model?" He's like, "Yeah man, absolutely." So I paid for it, got my truck, and took it out, and it was already pre-assembled, so I didn't even have to like assemble it, which was pretty awesome. So managed to pull everything out. One mistake I made. Okay, so you'll see, I bought an engine stand, or I had an engine stand from like a year or two before. One mistake I made is I didn't pre-purchase the bolts that would bolt the engine to the engine stand. All right, it's just something that completely left my mind. So what I ended up having to do after pulling everything out, I covered it in a garbage bag. I kind of just left it there in my driveway, and I went over to I took a transmission bell housing bolt, went over to Home Depot, figured out the right ones, got the long versions, put them in. Preparation. That cost me like a day and a half. Right, it was really frustrating. You can see it's cloudy over there, so I remember it like raining, and I just remember that whole process. I was just kicking myself in the butt because I'm sitting here going like, man, I could have. I had to wait so many days over just me not purchasing, the correct bolts. So eventually, I got it onto an engine stand, as you can see right here. Got it all bolted in, and that's when I started really realizing like, oh man, I can't believe this engine was working so well. I didn't have any check engine lights, but we've got the exhaust valves just totally caked in soot, and you'll see how bad the whole EGR and the soot thing gets a little bit later when I show you guys the intake manifolds and other things in the next video. But oil is leaking everywhere. Of course, hey, it's a diesel, right? And it's an old Volkswagen diesel. Um, Oil's leaking everywhere. Things are so over here. I take off the exhaust manifold, and I want to point you guys over to something. Is when I go into the housing, I'm not sure if it shows up on video, but there's a ton of metal shavings in the turbine, and I'm like, there's metal everywhere. So I started realizing how incredible this engine platform is because it's leaking oil like crazy. Everything's gummed up with soot. There's metal shavings everywhere, and it ran like a top. Like it ran extremely well. Had all the power, torque. It was fun to drive. It wasn't a huge deal. So then I went to I took off the camshaft. Here we go here. I removed the camshaft, and then I found something out pretty wild. Look at all that wear, the heat scoring on every single cam bearing. That was nuts. So when I was taking the cam caps off, I found out that I found all the way on the right, so the one for like cylinder one, all the way up front, one of the cam cap bolts were loose. It was finger loose. You could just take it all out. Apparently, it's something that happens on these engines. I don't know if that's like it was a factory thing. I don't know. Again, it was like 214,000 miles when I pulled it out. So a lot of work has been done to the car. A lot of work's been done to the engine. I don't know if somebody forgot it or if it just backed itself out, which is pretty nuts. Thankfully, the bearings held up, nothing broke. It didn't dig into the head. It did unfortunately damage the camshaft. So I ended up buying a new camshaft, and new camshaft bearings. One thing to note, so the injectors, there's, I kept reading and watching videos, people saying the injectors are so difficult to remove, and the injector seal springs over there, so those are actually for the injectors. Um, what I ended up doing is I removed. They have these retainers right next to them. I removed the retainers. I took a ratchet strap and I wrapped it around underneath. So the let me try to get close here. So there's a little bit of a lip kind of right there on the injector. Put that underneath, and then I tied that ratchet strap on a piece of 2x4, and I just boom, and I just kept pulling it up. So I just kept pulling it up, pulling it up. I probably had like maybe 8 or 9 inches of slack, so I can get like a really good pull, and just pop right out. One of the issues, it wasn't like an issue, but it's something I noticed, right? Is when the car would start up overnight, like I leave it overnight or whatever, or I just leave it for a significant amount of time. I turn it on, a huge like puff of black smoke would come outside of the exhaust pipe. And it turns out when I pulled these injectors out, I noticed they were all leaking. So there was some like O-rings and stuff. There's like crushed washers and what have you. But I didn't know the extent of it until I removed the cylinder head, which is right here. So another thing I didn't notice. So like when I pulled this off, real quick, when I pulled this off, all I could say is what a mess, what a mess, what a mess. So much metal. Metal shavings everywhere. It was like glitter. The inside of the pistons, it was just full of diesel from the leaking injectors, and I couldn't believe that it just ran so well. Another thing that took me by surprise. Again, I didn't know anything about this platform. I just knew that I liked it, and I knew that it was cool, and I knew that it was relatively affordable. And I'm like, let me give it a shot. I think it'd be fun. I didn't realize it would have an aluminum head. We got that. It's an aluminum head and aluminum oil pan. So I thought I was gonna get like iron block, iron head, and I didn't. And I'm just surprised by how this held up. Again, 214,000 miles when I did all this. Everything else honestly really seemed all original on it. I don't think they did any like really big work, really big engine work. From my understanding, these are like 500,000 mile engines, probably 1 million mile engines if you remove the EGR. Let's get real. But I removed it, and I just like could not believe how like I don't know, like I had the assumption, that if this was like any other engine or maybe even a gasoline engine, like it would have blown up a long time ago. But this thing was just doing its thing, and it was working, it was running, it was driving. So it really did give me the confidence. I understood that. I'm pretty sure if I take this apart and it's like really bad, like that's it. Maybe the project's done. I have to just go junk the car. But that wasn't the case. Another thing I want to point out that's really really important is I took my time. I took my time when it came to removing the nuts and bolts. I used the propane torch. This is one of those little handheld ones. It's not expensive. I used the propane torch. I used some PB blast and all hand tools, hand tools, hand tools, hand tools, disassembling all of this. I knew that if I was impatient and I broke a bunch of studs and bolts, especially in the cylinder head because it's aluminum, it could mean a complete end to the project. Because look, this is cost. I wanted to do this as cheaply as possible. One, kind of forced to, but also like I wanted to prove that you could do these kind of really awesome big projects with not spending so much money. One of the ways that you could save money is not making mistakes. So, and another thing is also like, look, you're gonna lose charisma, right? You're gonna lose motivation to do it if you broke 6 or 7 bolts and now you gotta weld something or do stud extractions. In this entire teardown, teardown, I only had one stud break, and that was on the exhaust manifold. Thankfully, it didn't break flush, and thankfully, I managed to extract it. And it was a pretty easy extraction. I actually did a video about it, and I'll probably post that video when we get there. And that video got millions of views, and it was like most of the comments were like in German, and I guess it was a big deal. I still don't understand why it was so popular, but it was pretty cool. Um, so that's kind of where I am right now. In the next video, we're going to go into more of a teardown, checking out a couple things, And I really hope you guys are enjoying the series. I'm enjoying making these videos. I hope you're enjoying this. I know it's kind of chaotic, right, with the setup, but I'm still learning how to make this type of content. So if you like what you see, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Check me out. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. Same deal, official worst mechanic. And looking forward to recording and sharing the next episode.